can't buy me love.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen.
All I got
You might not even have any money if it's in a bank. That's the sad part. You go to some of the websites that show how to check out your bank, and you're going to be shocked. That's very unfortunate. I know there have been people's lives that have been turned upside down as a result of this, and I gave out the other day one of the bank checking websites. I'll find that for you again. I'm going to give it out again because it's pretty scary stuff. It's not bankrate.com. It's another one that the banks use, and I'll get that and share that for you in a little bit. Our guest today is Bob Chapman. He is editor of the Financial Times newsletter. If you would like a copy of it, if you want to see what's going to happen before it happens, this is the phone number to call, 877-479-8178, 877-479-8178, or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. Ask for a complimentary newsletter. Check it out, and you will be convinced, I'm sure, that it is the way to go. Go ahead, Bob, with what we were talking about earlier, and then I want to get to that close of the Dow the other day.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say here is that gold will probably go sideways to slightly higher into next week. And next week there'll be a battle royal between the shorts, which is essentially the United States government, and the option people, the people who bought options, who are investors or speculators, from the government via the Commitment of Trader report, which is the commercials. And so we're going to see some pretty wild swings here, perhaps over the next 10 days. The shares, the producing gold shares, have done quite well, and they seem to be very resilient. They don't want to go back down again. And the coin market has been strong, and the premiums are starting to increase on the numismatic coins, and I expect that to continue. And so the short-term view here is sideways to slightly higher, and then we'll probably get a real fight going on next week, and they'll probably try to get prices lower. They may be successful. What are we talking about, $10 or $15? What level are we talking about? Perhaps 1,015, 1,020, back down to 1,000 again, or maybe 995 or something like that. But once that's over with, I think we've got a breakout on our hands. You're looking at a reverse head and shoulders, technically, powerfully on the right shoulder. It's already broken out. It's just a question of now how high, and it's hard to say. It could go to 12, 1250. It could go to 1,700, and usually these spikes upward off of that very, very powerful formation means that there's a good chance it's going to go very high. So if you're not in gold and silver-related assets, you better be immediately. And if you are and you can add to your positions, I would do so.
Some people think it's too late. It's gone too high. $1,000 an ounce. It's gone too high.
Well, they told me that when it was $470 and $350 and $275 when England was selling half their gold. These people have been perpetually wrong. I have been perpetually right.
That's
and
correct.
So my investors who are subscribers to the forecaster have made between 8 and 10% a year for the last 9 years. Well, everybody's gone in the tank on the stock market and everything else. And you don't have to trade. So your maintenance cost is very, very low. And so they're wrong. I'm going to be right.
Okay.
I mean, this is the biggest bull market in the history of mankind.
That's right.
People just don't get it. They don't understand that every currency in the world, save the euro, has no backing whatsoever. They keep on printing money like there's no tomorrow. It's going to come down in a heap, just like the building in 9/11. Immolating. It just collapsed. And the same thing is going to happen to the world economy, just not the American economy. And yes, the euro does have a slight backing of gold, but it's insignificant.
Oh, is that right? I thought it was fully backed by gold.
No, it started at 15%, and there was a big fight over that between France, Germany, Italy, and the rest. And Germany wanted 28%, France wanted 26%, and Italy wanted 25%. And so they compromised at 15%, but they've been selling gold to suppress the price. And I just said that they lent gold to the COMEX from the European Central Bank so COMEX wouldn't go bankrupt.
We're going to be back after this 3-minute break, and the question is, how well capitalized is the FDIC? How many banks have gone under this past weekend? Where do we stand if you're in a bank? We'll be right back. 3-minute break. Stay tuned. Talking to our guest today, Bob Chapman, who is the editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. If you don't have a copy of it, and you're the only person in the world probably that doesn't by now, the phone number to call is 877-479-8178, 877-479-8178. We were talking about the correction of the market with respect to commodities, especially, of course, gold and silver, since so many people are interested in that at the Power Hour. One question, off-air question, which is, Bob, why do you never talk about rhodium or platinum as something to invest in?
Because they are commercial metals, number one. Number two, they're not precious metals, although from time to time platinum is used as a precious metal. In poor economic times, they tend to go down in value, which they have. And my feeling is, why deviate from the most powerful bull market in history that's been in existence for 9 years already and go to something else when all you have to do is sit in an MS-64 Liberty or a St. Gaudens or an Agnico Eagle and sit for 9 years and watch it go up 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say, don't waste your time over there. We got a tried and true method of making money here. You just got to be patient. You don't have to trade. You don't have to think. I'll do that for you. When I think you ought to sell, I'll let you know. And we haven't had any selling opportunities. The market's not overpriced. It's underpriced.
Okay, and
but
also
in relation to the commercial metals, I stay away from them because there's no need for me to be there at this time.
Okay, and I understand that the 10th ounce are hard to find now, or maybe even almost non-existent. The maple leafs, the 10th ounce maple leafs. I was hoping to have Ted Anderson here today. They're not able to find them. People are really getting these little $120, $150 pieces and stocking up on them, and they're hard to find. Have you heard that?
It's absolutely true, and I'll tell you why. You've got an MS-64 that's about $1,800, we'll say. That's a ballpark figure. I mean, we could be looking at $15,000 to $25,000 a coin.
Whoa!
Now, it makes it a little difficult to barter, and so that's why people are buying not only the 10ths and the 8.18s and the .22s and the .25s, which include the Swiss franc, the French franc, the German mark, the sovereign, and the Uruguayan, and the Mexican, and Mexicans are impossible to find. You can't even find 1.22 ounce Centenario coins in Mexico. I mean, there are none. They're hoarding them all.
Bob, this coincidence that happened between 9/11/01 and 9/11/09, how much of a coincidence is that? Or is that some kind of message there? Or am I just being too tinfoil hat person?
No, I don't think you are. I mean, these people are really into numerology, and they're also into other satanic things. And those numbers mean a great deal to them. And so the comparison is valid. I'm sure that they had something to do with that. And, you know, I'm not being Pollyannish about it. You know, I've been at this for 50 years, and you see these kinds of things repeat over and over again. And so I said, I think you're close on that. I think they had something to do with it.
And another question. Now, I have given out this website for the listeners. It's a bank website basically used by banks to see performance reports of the banks. It's FF, that's Frank, I, E, C as in Charlie, FF, Indigo, E, C as in Charlie, Frank, FFIEC.gov. You go to that website and you can see the bank performance reports. Now, these reports are, 13, 15, 20 pages long. But I have a question for you, and that is, on some of these reports, you'll see, whether it's Bankrate or FFIEC.gov, it says this bank is quite problematic. Now, my question to you is, if a person were to see that in a small town and they started passing that information around, why would that not be a run on the bank there and be of real concern to the bank itself?
Well, it would be. But then again, the bank created the situation in the first place by making loans that they shouldn't have made.